My sister slapped me at her wedding in front of 150 guests because I refused to give her my downtown loft. A prominent attorney was among the onlookers. My parents insisted the loft for her new family handed over. Selfish kids don't deserve success, my mother yelled, with my father chiming in. Your sister's future kids need a real home. My sister sneered, claiming she was entitled to what I'd worked for. When I stood my ground, she struck me in front of everyone. The crowd erupted in laughter. I held back tears. My response would leave her speechless. My wine glass shook in my hand as I watched my sister, Cassandra, glide across the polished wooden floor of the Grand View Hotel's elegant ballroom in Chicago. Her custom-designed gown flowed like a cascade of silk. The 150 guests were there for her storybook wedding to Ethan, a sharp financial consultant she'd met only 9 months prior. I couldn't help but notice the irony. She was marrying for wealth, yet she envied mine. I'm Lauren, 34, and I've fought hard to get where I am. While Cassandra chased fleeting romances in her 20s, I was pulling all-nighters and 80-hour weeks at a leading Chicago law firm. 6 years ago, I took a leap of faith, launching my own practice focused on commercial litigation. It paid off handsomely. A major case settlement last year let me buy a loft overlooking Lake Michigan, now apparently coveted by all. Lauren, you look stunning, my mother, Elaine, said with her practiced smile, reserved for moments she deemed important. Her auburn hair was perfectly styled, and her emerald dress likely cost more than a month's rent for most. We need a quick family chat, my heart sank. Family discussions in the Bennett household were rarely pleasant. Mom, it's Cassandra's wedding day. Can't this wait? No, it can't, my father, Thomas, cut in, his face stern. At 60, Dad looked imposing in his suit, but his eyes carried the familiar disapproval I'd known since childhood. We've been talking about your living situation. My living situation. I set my wine glass down, needing both hands free. What's wrong with it? Well, dear, Mom's voice turned syrupy. Cassandra and Ethan are planning a family. They'll need more space than Ethan's small rental. I blinked. They're not even expecting, Mom, but they will be soon, Cassandra said, joining us, her voice carrying as Ethan's arm circled her waist. At 29, with striking blonde hair and hazel eyes, her calculating look sent a chill through me. We're trying right away. Congrats, I said warily. I'm sure you'll find a great place for your kids. We already have, Cassandra grinned. We want your loft. Her words hit like a punch. What, Lauren, don't overreact, Dad said, his tone patronizing, as if he were the voice of reason. You don't need all that space. You're single. Cassandra and Ethan are building a family. They need room for kids, for their future. Give up my home, I said, incredulous. I worked years for it. Not give up, Mom interjected quickly. Exchange, you could take Ethan's apartment. It's fine for one person, a 600-square-foot studio in Evanston, I asked. Trade my 3-bedroom loft in the Loop for that. Lauren, stop being dramatic, Cassandra snapped. You don't use all that space. Why do you need 3 bedrooms? You don't even have a partner. Her jab stung, as she intended. Cassandra was always the favorite, untouchable in our parents' eyes. They admired her bravery for leaving college to discover herself. Her job hopping and relationships were framed as bold exploration. When I earned my law degree, they fretted I was overworking. I need the bedrooms. It's my home, I said, my voice tight with anger. I earned it, paid for it, and I'm not giving it up. Lauren Marie Bennett, Mom's tone sharpened. That's incredibly selfish. Family comes first, always. Family, I gave a bitter laugh. Have I ever been treated like family? When I needed support for the bar exam, you called me distant. When I struggled to build my firm, you said I was careless. I finally made it, and you act like it's nothing. That's not fair, Dad said, but his voice lacked conviction. Isn't it? When did any of you last ask about my life, my career, my happiness? But the second I have something you want, I'm suddenly family. Cassandra stepped closer, her face flushed with fury. You know your problem, Lauren. You're jealous of me. You can't stand that I'm getting married and starting a family you'll never have. I'm not jealous, Cassandra. I'm disappointed in you. Disappointed. She laughed sharply. You're disappointed in me. I'm the one getting married, giving Mom and Dad grandkids. What have you done besides chase money? I built a life, I said quietly. I worked hard for everything I have. I've never asked any of you for anything. Well, we're asking now, Dad said firmly. Your sister needs the loft more than you. It's time you did something for your family, not just yourself. Thomas is right, Mom added, her voice rising. Selfish children don't deserve success. You've had everything handed to you, and now you won't help your own sister. I nearly laughed at the absurdity. Handed to me, I worked 3 jobs to pay for law school. I survived on instant noodles for years. I built my firm from nothing. I've never asked you for a dime. Dad's voice boomed across the ballroom. Your sister's kids need a proper home, heads turned. Not some tiny apartment. They deserve better. They don't even exist yet, I protested, but I was losing ground. My family always knew how to make my achievements feel like flaws. Cassandra leaned in, her voice low and cutting. Lauren, I'm done pretending. I've always been the better daughter, prettier, more liked, Mom and Dad's favorite. Now my time has come. Her words hung like a gauntlet. Guests nearby sensed the tension, their chatter fading as they watched. What do you deserve, Cassandra? I asked softly. What exactly is that? Everything, she said simply. The loft, the respect, the life you've kept to yourself. I deserve it all, and I'm taking it. Not in this lifetime. The slap came out of nowhere, her hand striking my cheek with a loud smack that echoed through the room. For a moment, the ballroom went silent. The 150 guests froze, their conversations halting as they turned to witness the scene. Then the laughter started, first a few chuckles from Cassandra's friends, who always saw me as too driven, too serious. It spread quickly. Guests I didn't know pointing and whispering. Did you see that? She actually hit her. About time someone humbled Lauren. Always thought she was too full of herself. My cheek stung, but I refused to cry. I wouldn't give them that. I stood there, feeling the weight of 150 stares, their laughter and judgment washing over me. Cassandra smirked. Feel like family now. My parents stood behind her, offering no defense or apology for their daughter. They just waited to see if I'd break. This wasn't about the loft, it was about breaking me, reminding me that no matter my success, I'd always be the lesser one. But they'd miscalculated. They'd humiliated me in front of 150 witnesses, including influential figures from Chicago's legal and financial circles, people who respected my work and reputation. I pulled out my phone, my hand steady despite the anger coursing through me. Silently, I began typing. Lauren, what are you doing? Mom asked, her voice tinged with worrying. I ignored her and kept typing. The crowd's laughter faded as they noticed my response wasn't what they expected. I wasn't fleeing in tears. I was doing something else. Lauren, stop that, Dad said. You're making a fool of yourself. No, I said calmly, still typing. I'm not the one who should be ashamed. Cassandra lunged for my phone, but I sidestepped and hit send as her fingers grazed the screen. What did you do? She hissed. I'm through with you. I looked at her, my parents, and the guests watching with open curiosity. My response would shut her down for good. Their puzzled expressions were almost amusing. They expected me to crumble, not fight back. My phone buzzed with a reply, then several more in quick succession. Lauren, what did you send? Mom's voice turned shrill, panic rising. I smiled, genuinely this time. I messaged my group chat with colleagues, reporters, and business contacts, the real players in this city. Cassandra's face paled. What message? An update. How my family demanded my loft for my sister and her husband. How my mother screamed that selfish kids don't deserve success. How my father said my sister's future kids need a home more than I do. How my sister slapped me in front of 150 people for refusing to give up my life's work. The ballroom grew quiet. Even the jazz band stopped playing. I also mentioned how everyone laughed when I was attacked. I continued, my voice clear in the silence. How entertaining they found it when a successful woman was put in her place by her family. Lauren, delete that now, Dad warned, his voice low and threatening. I shrugged. Delete the truth. Too late. It's already out there. You know how social media works, Dad. Once it's posted, it's forever. My phone was buzzing nonstop now, with messages of support, anger on my behalf, and requests for details. The story was spreading faster than I'd imagined. You spiteful, Cassandra screamed, her voice wavering. No, Cassandra, I'm done being your punching bag. Ethan, silent until now, finally spoke. Lauren, maybe we can sort this out. We didn't mean for it to escalate like this. I looked at him with pity. Wrong family to marry into, Ethan. You had no idea what you were getting into. What do you mean? He asked, confused. Your wife and her family just crossed some powerful people. No Judge Patricia Lang. She was there, saw it all, and texted me, appalled by your wife's actions. Cassandra's face turned pale. Judge Lang, one of Chicago's most respected judges, had no patience for entitled behavior. And Michael Carter from the Tribune was here, wanting to discuss a case I'm working on. He witnessed everything and asked for a quote about how successful women are treated by their families. Lauren, stop, Mom begged. You're ruining Cassandra's wedding. Cassandra ruined her own wedding when she chose to assault me in front of 150 people. It was just a slap, Cassandra insisted. You're blowing it out of proportion. It was assault, Cassandra. And 150 people saw it, including lawyers, a judge, and a reporter. You want to know what I deserve? I deserve not to be attacked by my own family. My phone rang. I glanced at the screen and smiled. This is interesting. It's Rachel Stein from Stein & Partners, the firm that handles high-profile crisis management. She's offering her services pro bono. Cassandra's face turned red. In Chicago's elite circles, crisis management meant damage control for scandals. If Rachel Stein was reaching out, the fallout was already beyond my immediate network. Lauren, please, Cassandra whispered. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. I was upset. Sorry, I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're sorry your actions have consequences. You're sorry you can't take everything from me without a fight. But you're not sorry for what you did. I'm sorry, she said again. I'll apologize publicly. I'll say it was a mistake. Too late. The damage is done. And it was. The crowd's expressions had shifted. The laughter was gone, replaced by uneasy murmurs and disapproving glances. Those who'd found my humiliation funny now looked at Cassandra with disdain. Social media was exploding. In Chicago's high society, reputation was everything. What do you want? Ethan asked, his voice heavy with defeat. Leave me alone, I said. Stop treating me like a cash machine. Stop expecting me to give up my happiness for Cassandra. And stop pretending family means more to you than what you can take from me. Lauren, we're still family, Mom said softly. No, we're not. A family doesn't demand your home. A family doesn't berate you in public. A family doesn't assault you at a wedding. A family supports each other, celebrates successes, and shows respect. You've never done that for me. My phone buzzed again. A text from my assistant, Claire. Lauren, gossip blogs are calling. They want to know if you're the lawyer attacked at the Grandview wedding. What do I say? I held up the phone for them to see. Gossip blogs are calling. This is about to go very public. Cassandra began to cry, her perfect makeup running down her face. Lauren, please, it's my wedding day. Don't destroy it. I'm not destroying anything, Cassandra. I'm just done being your victim. What can we do? Ethan asked, desperate. How do we fix this? I looked at him, my parents, and finally my sister, sobbing in her wedding gown. You can't fix this, Ethan. This is who they are. They take and take until there's nothing left. And when you say no, they attack you. The ballroom was thinning out. The obvious family disaster had guests slipping away with excuses. Cassandra's perfect wedding was falling apart, and everyone wanted distance from the mess. The loft is mine, I said quietly. I earned it, paid for it, and I'm keeping it. Want a nice place, Cassandra? Get a job and earn it. I can't believe you're doing this, she muttered. I can't believe it took me this long. As I turned to leave, Dad grabbed my arm. Lauren, wait. We can work this out. Counseling, mediation, whatever you want. I looked at his hand, then his face. Let go, Dad. He released me quickly, aware of the optics after what had happened. There's nothing to work out, I said. You chose Cassandra over me, like always. You chose her convenience over my hard work, her demands over my boundaries. When I said no, you watched her hit me instead of helping. We didn't know she'd hit you, Mom insisted. But you didn't stop her. You didn't apologize or check on me. You just stood there. I walked toward the exit, my heels clicking on the wood floor. Behind me, I heard Cassandra's sobs, Mom's frantic whispers, and Dad's grumbling. I didn't look back. At the door, I turned one last time. The once vibrant ballroom looked like a wreck. Guests were in small clusters, whispering and pointing. The bride was crying, her makeup ruined. The groom looked stunned, and my parents were scrambling to contain an uncontainable scandal. You know what's ironic? I called out, my voice carrying through the near-empty room. I would have helped if you'd asked nicely. If you treated me like family instead of a bank, I'd have helped you find a place, maybe even chipped in for a down payment. The silence was heavy. But you didn't ask, you demanded my home. You insulted me, attacked me when I said no. So you get nothing. I left the Grandview Hotel with my head high, leaving behind my sister's ruined wedding and my family's shattered reputation. The elevator ride felt endless. Behind me, I heard the chaos in the ballroom, muffled voices, crying, chairs scraping. My phone buzzed constantly, each notification a mix of relief and anxiety. The lobby was calm. The night manager, a kind woman in her 40s, approached with concern. "Miss Bennett, is everything okay?" We heard there was a commotion upstairs. I paused, realizing even the hotel staff knew. "I'm fine, thanks. Just family drama," she nodded, but her eyes showed curiosity. By morning, the story would spread through the hotel's gossip chain and beyond. In Chicago's elite circles, scandals traveled fast. Outside, the cool September air hit me sharply ironic, given the slap I'd already taken. I stood on the sidewalk, watching cars pass along Michigan Avenue, processing what had happened. I could hardly believe I'd stood up to them. Part of me wondered why it took so long. My phone rang. It was Mia, my best friend, a fellow attorney from my old firm. "Lauren, what's going on? I saw your message, and now there are photos all over social media. Did Cassandra really hit you?" "She did." I started walking toward the L train, needing to move as adrenaline still surged. "Are you okay? Want me to come over?" "I'm fine, Mia. Better than fine. I think I'm finally free from pretending they're my family. Free from guilt over my success. Free from tiptoeing around them." A pause. "Lauren, this is going to get ugly, you know that, right?" "I know, but I'm done cleaning up their messes. Let them deal with it. What about your parents? They'll be crushed." I stopped. "Mia, they watched their daughter attack me. They demanded I give up my home for their favorite. They called me selfish for keeping what I earned. When should I start caring about their feelings?" "You're right," she said softly. "I'm sorry. I know how much family means to you. Family means everything. But they stopped being mine a long time ago. I just didn't see it." I walked home, having ended the call with Mia. I needed time to think, to process what had happened and what was coming. The 30-block walk from downtown to my loop loft gave me that. My phone kept buzzing, messages from colleagues at the wedding, shocked and supportive. Friends who'd seen the social media posts. And journalists who'd somehow gotten my number, seeking quotes. The most unexpected message was from Susan Harper, a senior partner at my old firm. We'd parted on good terms when I started my practice, but we hadn't spoken much since. "Lauren, I just heard about tonight. You have my full support. What you endured was awful, and I admire your strength. Call if you need me." Her message brought tears to my eyes, gratitude, not pain. Here was someone who barely knew my family, offering help because it was right. It showed how wrong my family was about me. They called me selfish, obsessed with success. But the messages flooding my phone told a different story: mentoring young lawyers, volunteering for women's shelters, working pro bono despite grueling weeks. My true self was seen by those who mattered. When I reached my building, I had over 150 messages and missed calls. My doorman, Javier, looked concerned as I entered. "Lauren, rough night." Javier had been at my building for 12 years, seeing me through law school stress, breakups, and late nights. He knew me better than my family. "Rough, Javier, but I think things are looking up," he smiled. "Glad to hear it. You deserve the best." In the elevator, I caught my reflection in the glass. My cheek was still pink from Cassandra's slap, my hair slightly messy, my makeup smudged, but my eyes were sharp, victorious. My loft felt like a haven when I entered. The expansive windows framed Chicago's skyline, lights sparkling like jewels. This was my home, my triumph. No one would take it. I poured a glass of wine, sat on my sofa, and scrolled through social media. Someone had filmed Cassandra's slap, maybe thinking it was amusing, and posted it online. The video had been shared hundreds of times, with comments ranging from outrage to support. "Disgusting. Who hits someone at a wedding? This lawyer's my hero." She stood her ground. The sister deserved it. Assault is assault. I can't believe people laughed. What's wrong with them? It wasn't just strangers commenting. I saw names from Chicago's legal and business worlds, even a few local influencers who'd seen the video. The story was growing, far beyond Cassandra's wedding. My phone rang again. Claire, my assistant, on her personal line. Reporters, local news, gossip blogs, even national outlets. This is blowing up. I closed my eyes, exhausted. What do they want? Are you pressing charges, planning to sue? What was your family like before this? Some want your career story, others your personal life. Of course, a married sister attacking a successful single woman, a classic narrative. Claire, draft a statement. Keep it short. Ms. Bennett appreciates the support she's received. She's focused on her work and clients and won't comment further on this private matter. Anything about charges? I paused. I hadn't thought about pressing charges. The slap was about humiliation, not injury, but the question opened new possibilities. Don't mention charges. Keep it open. After the call, I realized I was starving, having skipped food at the wedding due to nerves. I ordered Italian and assessed the fallout. By midnight, the story was viral. The video was shared by gossip sites, amassing thousands of views. Think pieces emerged. A women's rights advocate wrote about societal pressure on women to prioritize family over career. A therapist dissected toxic family patterns. A lawyer outlined the Illinois assault laws. My story had become a catalyst for discussions on success, gender, family, and self-respect. Cassandra's social media, once filled with wedding joy, was now flooded with harsh comments calling her entitled and abusive. Her wedding hashtag Cassandra and Ethan Forever, was mockingly used to share the slap video. I almost pitied her until I recalled her smug grin as she hit me, and my sympathy faded. As I ate, calls came from unexpected places. A college friend I hadn't spoken to in years offered support. A distant cousin shared her own family struggles. My high school mentor, who'd seen the story online, called to say she was proud of me. The most impactful call was from Judge Patricia Lang, a wedding guest. Lauren, I got your number from a colleague. I'm sorry about tonight. I should have stepped in. You were a guest, not a referee. You didn't need to. Maybe, but I've been thinking. This wasn't just a family spat. Emotional manipulation, financial demands, physical aggression. It's a pattern of abuse. I see it in my courtroom too often. Her words struck hard. I'd been so caught up in the slap and the loft dispute that I missed the broader picture. For years, my family treated me like a resource, dismissed my achievements, and guilted me for my success. I never thought of it as abuse, I said. It's not always obvious, especially with family. We tolerate things from relatives we never accept from others. But what I saw was textbook, demands, humiliation, violence. After the call, I sat in my loft, reflecting. Was I abused? The term felt heavy. They'd never hit me before, never controlled my life. But they belittled my successes, shamed me for my achievements, and demanded I sacrifice for Cassandra. When I refused, they mocked and attacked me. Maybe Judge Lang was right. Maybe it was abuse.